Hello, all you wonderful and magnificent people. How are y'all doing today? Welcome back to another episode of Controller Chronicles, uh, technically number 7, but we can just say it's another episode. Anyway, I'm your host for today's episode, your friendly neighborhood meta, and joining me today is my co-host RJ. Unfortunately, our other co-host, Braille, could not make it due to personal issues. We understand that, but RJ and I are holding down the fort today. How are you doing today, man?
Doing okay. Just, chilling. Get the chill vibes going.
You changed the music, the chill.
Because this is chill. It's relaxing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Turn my shit. Hold on. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Night driving. I love this one, dude. There's like I like 3 or 4 of the StreamYard background music shit. Anyway, yeah, and I've been doing good as well. As I said
we're about 2 weeks into the new year.
2 weeks into the new year, and already so much shit is happening. Again, this is the only time you'll ever hear me talk about something non-gaming on this show, but I still can't believe that in the span of 24 hours, both Nick Saban of Alabama and Bill Belichick of the New England Patriots retired. It is truly the beginning of a new era, folks. And even hell on YouTube, Matt Pat's gone now. A few with it, along with the other creators. We are entering a new era of just internet and societal different. I can't with this.
Yeah, there's a lot going on for sure. I mean, entertainment news and just so much else. I mean, just it's 11 days in at the time of recording. It's just been crazy.
Every year.
And just wait. We got how many weeks? Let's see. Hold on. We got 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks before all hell breaks loose, and we get a bunch of games and stuff coming out.
For me, it is 2 weeks.
Oh my god, we're 3 weeks away from Persona.
We're 3 weeks away from Persona. I'm 2 weeks away from
Squad.
I'm 2 weeks away. Hey, we'll talk about that game later. I'm 2 weeks away from Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. I still haven't played Like a Dragon Gaiden because of issues with my physical from Play Asia, but that's neither here nor there. They are fixing it. I do commend their customer service team for being absolutely chads about this whole situation. Unlike I am 8-bit, fuck their customer service. Anyway, we're talking about games. Let's go ahead and just ask the question: what are we currently playing? I will go first, just because mine is a very simple answer. I am not playing anything right now.
What?
I am in school again. I got responsibilities. After we're finished recording, I got to go back into those responsibilities.
Yeah, screw responsibilities. Go play a video game.
No, RJ, this is not just responsibility. This is my future we're talking about. I can't do that.
You can play for 10 minutes.
No, because I don't do 10 minutes. I do an hour, right? I do an hour or 2 hours. If it's really good, I'll do 3 or 4. So I can't. I have to. I finished Jack 3. I did finish that before I went back to school. That was great. That trilogy still holds up to this day. Man, Naughty Dog was cooking. And honestly, this scared the shit out of me. I was reading the credits. RJ, guess whose fucking name I saw at the very bottom of Jack 3?
Who?
One of the current CEOs of the company now.
Oh, really?
The fuck man himself, Neil Druckmann. So that motherfucker's been there for a minute, because Jack 3 came out, I think, mid 2000s. I don't remember exactly the year. I think it came out 2005, 2006. Anyway, or no, probably 2000. Anyway, it came out early to mid 2000s. Point is, yeah, that threw me for a loop, and I was like, well, damn. Well, this will be fun to talk about when the time comes. But anyway, yeah, I'm not playing anything right now, but I do. Listen, especially with my co-host here. Like he said, we are 3 weeks away from Persona 3 R dropping. The game that no one thought existed, except for me. I kept the dreams alive. So I'll just end by saying, when the time comes, I am going to try to balance to where I do my schoolwork ahead of time, so that way I do have free time later in the week. And I'm going to try to play I'll probably play Persona 3 first, mostly because with Like a Dragon, I need to play Gaiden and then 8. So, um, yeah. My question, what I will attempt to be playing next is Persona 3 on.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for that collector's edition to ship.
Oh, it's so
glorious.
good.
It'll be glorious. But yeah, for me, I'm playing a couple different games. I started Super Mario RPG. Got to get back to that and finish that. Probably not even like halfway through that game yet, but it's not that long. Super Mario RPG is like about 20 hours, I think, max. Like it's not a long RPG at all. It's a more digestible RPG. I'm also playing One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 because I'm trying to get the platinum trophy because I'm very close to getting it. And I was like, I might as well just go clean that up and go do it. And that's about it. Pretty much for me, like the next big game I'm playing will be Persona 3 Reload. Like that's the game I'm kind of like putting everything on because like for me it's gonna be Persona 3 Reload, and then right after that it's gonna be Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, and I'm just like,
And I do have like again this early season. I've said this with a couple of my friends, in other places. Like the early month, JRPG fans are here for a feast. We have a feast coming.
Yeah,
even if you're not a fan
of lot
of
of
one
stuff
of these,
all releasing close together.
Even if you're not a fan of one of these titles, you are a fan of another one. So in the span of just 3 months, hell no, it's 2 months. In the span of 2 months, I'll add 3 as a DLC. But anyway, Like a Dragon 8, Persona 3 Reload, that Fantasy Blue game. I don't know that series that well, but some people I know are Grand Blue Fantasy, and then Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
Yeah.
And then if you want to add again, the DLC is Unicorn Overlord, which is a tactical JRPG from Vanillaware, the guys that did Odin Sphere and Aegis 13 Sentinels. Almost said Aegis Rem. That's
Aegis.
Anyway,
that's a different character. Aegis.
That's a different character. We'll see her in February. Anyway,
the toaster.
So yeah, folks, basically, if one of us isn't on here talking about Persona 3 Reload, the other will be, because we are both going to sink our teeth into that game. And I don't know about you, RJ. I'm going for that platy.
I have to look at the trophies and see first. If it's an easy platinum, yes. If it's not,
I got over half the trophies for P5R in my first playthrough. All I need to do is the second playthrough for the PS4 version, and I'd get the platinum. So, and that's just the PS4 version. I still have the PS5 version to platinum as well. I am a goddamn lunatic. Okay.
Oh, we already knew that, so.
Yeah, I've told you some of my plans for what I need to do for reviews. I am a lunatic. But anyway, but yeah, that's what we're playing and are going to be playing. So yeah, you want to get into the some of the topics for today?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get started with that. So the first big thing that we want to discuss is what's going on with Xbox. A couple different things have been going on with Xbox, actually. First off, it was a bunch of panic and bad news because people were freaking the hell out about Hi-Fi Rush. Have you seen those rumors at all?
I have, and I want to let it be known that I did purchase Hi-Fi Rush on my Steam. I played a bit of it. It's a good, fun time. And oh, hello, article.
Hello. So yeah, Hi-Fi Rush. There's a rumor going around that this game is not only going to be coming to Nintendo Switch, but also PS4 and PS5. Which that would be huge because this is a game from Tango Gameworks, which is owned by Bethesda, and Bethesda is owned by Xbox. So this is like, it is a major first-party game for them.
And again, it is unfortunate that Braille isn't here with us for this episode, because this is definitely a workshop that he and I like to go in about. So I'll do my best to fill in his shoes for today. This is massive because from what I understand, fucking JoJo. That was definitely a JoJo reference there. From what I understand, through the emails, through the acquisition of Activision, Phil Spencer said that he wanted to make all ZeniMax games exclusive. That means everything under the ZeniMax umbrella would be exclusive to Xbox. Now, let's look at what has come out from them since then. This is one of those games. It did get a lot of fan love and reception. However, when it comes to units, it sold okay. I remember the narrative came out that this game did not sell well. It sold okay.
Well, I have to
However,
remember, just for context, when Hi-Fi Rush launched in January of 2023, it was a shadow drop. They announced the game and said,
yes, they did.
this game, not only is this game being announced today, it is available right now after this, what was it? Like
Showcase. It was the Xbox Showcase.
Yeah, it's Xbox Showcase on Game Pass for free right now, which is massive. And
Yes.
everybody was playing it and talking about it, that was a great moment. Because it's like, oh my god, it's awesome looking.
Yes, that was actually
right now.
That was truly an epic gamer moment. And you get we need to get shit for that anyway. And yeah, I was one of the people that was impressed by this. You know, it reminds me of. I've played the game. I've played both games, so I can say gameplay wise, it is different. However, the game that it reminds me of is a game I loved from last gen called No Straight Roads, another rhythm-based game, except that one's more of a boss rush type game. You're just fighting the bosses. This is an actual like rhythm game, like there's levels and then a boss. So again, and I loved what I played. I just last year was so hellish that couldn't have time to play it fully, but. I did get a taste, and I liked it. And I will, if they do release it on PS5, I will pick it up physically because this game was awesome.
Yeah.
What's interesting?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No.
I was going to say real quick. I mean, the rumor mainly was talking about Switch, so maybe this could be a potential Switch 2 title in the fall.
But potentially, and we are going to definitely talk about the Switch 2 in just a moment.
Yeah, I want to say real quick too. So this rumor is coming from insider Nate the Hate. And then another recent Arrow user who, basically Nate the Hate was like, hey, this major critically acclaimed Xbox exclusive is going to launch on competing platforms. Then the other recent Arrow user was like, hey, this is coming to Switch, right?
Yeah.
Then Windows Central then reported that Microsoft has been exploring bringing some of its back catalog to other platforms, although some of the details remain vague and unconfirmed. But on the flip side of that, there's been a lot of... debate in the Xbox community about this. A lot of Xbox fans are not happy about this. Mostly because it comes down to their exclusive strategy, with some fans being on the idea of an Xbox exclusive launching a rival console. Others express excitement that the game could get a second win and millions more players, help building the case for a sequel. So I don't know. Like, this is what is Microsoft thinking? I guess what is their mindset when it comes to this? Because if you would you not want to keep this game on your own platform? I guess is the question.
It does deserve a bigger fan base. It does deserve a sequel. I know I haven't finished it, and I'm saying it deserves a sequel. But let me just it's one of the things when you can see when something has passion behind it, right? And this was definitely made with passion. This was a game made not to, fill a checklist. This is a good piece of work. Now, as far as the Xbox fan base goes, and I am not going to ignore that I have been a PlayStation fan who has been saying they need more exclusives. However, it's one of those things, right? So certain things can be exclusive, but as I've said, established titles and IPs should not be exclusive because that would divide the fan base. And as Matt Booty has said on record, or not Matt Booty, fucking what's his name?
Matt Booty.
Hold on, I have the fucking quote. Basically, one of the Xbox heads was on record for saying we are not in the business of dividing fan bases. And then this is before they acquired ZeniMax, and a little bit after they acquired Activision, we found out that Elder Scrolls 6 will be exclusive. And I'm sitting here like, you just lied. That is an outright lie. Here it is. Yeah, it was Matt Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios. If we acquire a game that comes with a big community across a number of platforms, the last thing we want to do is take something away. If anything, we feel that it's our job to be caretakers or shepherds and continue to build and nurture that community, not cut it up into pieces and try to take some of it away. Now, he could have been truthful because the emails said that was Phil Spencer's decision to make these ZeniMax games exclusive. So Matt could have been saying the truth, And then Phil came in and said, we need exclusives. They want what that we are going to listen to our fan base, make every ZeniMax game exclusive. Now, and I want to say that I've gotten these, what I'm about to say. These are not my original thoughts, but I do agree with them. But they're from people that can be kind of good take one day, bad take the next. So, but I've seen some people say Hi-Fi Rush was a good game, but it was a small title and it was free on Game Pass, so not a lot of units were sold. It being on Switch and PlayStation would definitely bring more people in. Now, this is a thing that a lot of people want to admit, but articles have been posted about this. Fallout 76. We all remember the abysmal launch it had. There are insiders in the game industry and, journalists and everything. It being on PlayStation saved it. The PlayStation side of the Fallout community helped save Fallout 76 from being an abysmal failure because of how many people play it. And the PlayStation player base is larger than Xbox. So Starfield comes out, makes it exclusive. I personally don't have any grievance toward that. However, when you look at the sales numbers, the needle really didn't move because Starfield wasn't as revolutionary as people pegged it up to be. Like the hype was a bit exacerbated, but it was still a good game. I still enjoyed the few hours that I did play of it, and I intend to go back again. But I don't think we can show gameplay.
Can we? We can't.
I don't think. No, we cannot.
Yeah,
well,
I wasn't going to show any audio. I was going to play in the background.
No gameplay. Unfortunately, but yeah. So what I'm saying is that I think we are seeing. Phil said, okay, you want exclusives? We'll make exclusives. The Xbox player base, because of Game Pass, that's the other thing. Game Pass gives you the Xbox exclusives for free, so you do not have to buy them if you have Game Pass, which means that the sales numbers are not going to be that great. So moving them to other platforms makes sense, and apparently that's also what Xbox has been wanting, which is counterintuitive. It goes against everything Phil did in those emails with ZeniMax games. But bottom line, I think this is a good move for Xbox. I don't think they're gonna go full third-party publisher like Sega did. We will have to see if that actually happens, but I don't think they will. I do think though that so this is another rumor that we talked about, I think, on the last episode, or we talked about it on the stream. We talked about it somewhere, about the Banjo-Kazooie game.
Right, yeah, the rumored one, yeah.
Yeah, so one of the games that could come out to test the waters that is a older title now is the Rare Replay. If the Rare Replay gets a release on PlayStation and Switch, I could see that selling really well on Switch. I just immediately
didn't they already released Banjo-Kazooie on backwards compatibility though, didn't they, for Switch?
They did.
The e-console or whatever.
They did, but I mean, there's multiple examples of like dude, how many times has Sonic 1 been ported?
Too many.
It's in compilations and it's sold separately. That's what I'm saying. Like Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, it would be the entire Banjo trilogy.
They should do like a remake. That's what they should do.
Well, even if that's, again, this is a way to like how much interest is in Banjo. Let's see what happens when we sell the Rare Replay, which is Banjo and then every other Rare game they've made up to that point, which would be great. But yeah, so games like that, maybe the older Gear games, maybe. Again, it's about judging interest, but again, like I think Xbox and Phil are not going to ignore the massive player base that both PlayStation and Switch bring to their ecosystem and to their sales, because they're not, with how many studios they own now, they have to be both first party and third party now. Like they have that responsibility. There's no way on God's earth they can make every game they make an exclusive. They could, but again, the sales numbers have shown that won't be profitable. So yeah, I think this is going to be great. I think this is going to give access. And again, like Braille, one of the things Braille told us behind the scenes, which I still cannot believe, is that the Master Chief Collection could come to the Switch 2 and PS5.
I don't know.
Halo on my PlayStation. That feels wrong.
That's what like. I feel like Xbox is going to be very careful what they port over. I think Sea of Thieves, that makes sense, and
The
Hi-Fi
Rare
Rush,
Replay
that
makes
makes
sense to me.
sense. Yeah, it's just Halo, I think, would be a step too far. I think Halo would be a step too far.
We'll have to see, is all I can say. I'm excited though for what this is. Again, and there is an Xbox showcase. We're recording this on the 11th, so next Thursday we will be recording that. This episode is going to be released tomorrow, the 12th. So again, please be on the lookout. Next week we are going to do that as a live stream coverage, and yeah, just look forward to that. Is all I can say about that.
Right? Yeah, I wanted to talk about that too really quick. They did announce Xbox is doing a developer direct on it was the 19th, I think.
18th. It's literally next Thursday.
Oh, okay, yeah, and that is going to be showcasing a bunch of stuff. But the biggest one they talked about is that they're going to be showcasing the Indiana Jones game,
and it's called the Great Circle. Apparently,
that is the rumor. Yes, that it's going to be
because they can't
Indiana
use Golden
Jones
Circle because Golden Circle has racial implications, and I guess that's just too problematic for big corporations. So the Great Circle.
Yeah, but yeah, other games are going to be showing. They're going to be showing off Hellblade 2, which hopefully we get.
That's going to finally. I'm predicting now that's going to get a release date.
Obsidian's going to be showing Avowed, which I'm excited to see.
That's going to get a release date as well. I think a lot of these games should be getting a release date because it's been enough time for them to be cooked for a release date to be announced.
Well, the exciting thing with the Indiana Jones game is that they're going to be revealing not just like because if you remember, they've only announced that it's in development. They haven't shown anything. They had like a concept art teaser or something.
No,
the hat.
They showed that trailer of
nothing of that game.
Yeah.
They've showed nothing of this game. But they're saying they're going to be showing gameplay, which that's very exciting. That we're already at the stage where we can see what the game actually looks like.
The rumor is from a lot of people, including I think Shinobi, who's big on Twitter/X, said this game is coming out this year. I could definitely.
If that's the case, if the Indiana Jones game is like a fall game for this year, massive W for Xbox. Massive W.
I can see this being a summer game, honestly.
Well, no, because if you remember, I think they said Avowed is rumored to be a spring game. I think Hellblade might be their summer game, and then Indie's their fall game. Because Indie for the fall makes sense because it's like a console seller right there.
Potentially. But Hellblade. I'm also looking at the themes of the games, so that's if I were a marketing person, I would base it like, okay, so Hellblade is kind of psychological horror. Let's put that in the fall, close to Halloween. Indie's adventure, well, it's Indiana Jones is Indiana Jones. It's like a summer blockbuster. Let's put it in the summer. Avowed, you can kind of put wherever, but if spring fits. Either way, they could have a banger after banger after banger moment if all three of those games come out. But yeah, we shall see next week. I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, so do we have any final thoughts on this Xbox rumor? Or do you have anything you wanted to say, RJ?
I mean, like I said, it's one to keep an eye on. I'll be curious. I don't know. Xbox is in a very weird not in a weird. I don't know if I want to categorize it weird. Just in a very interesting place where I'm just like, I want to see what they're cooking and what they're thinking. Because I think we've been talking about this. Like, it's inevitable that at some point they're going to focus more on Game Pass and being like a digital service and a digital platform.
So do you
more
think
so than anything else?
Do you think with that mindset then that they will go third party?
I think that they want Xbox Game Pass on everything. Now, what that means...
They want it on your TV. They want it on your smartphone. They want it in your car. They want it on your...
Yeah, and I think you're going to see Xbox really push the cloud gaming thing more so than anybody else.
Oh, God. I still... Cloud gaming is shit. I still hate it, but that's...
Yeah,
that's
we'll
my
see.
opinion.
We'll see. But, I mean, that's the thing. I think that they're just going to really be pushing for... the cloud gaming and the streaming. I think they want Game Pass and everything. So we'll see. If any of them were going to go third party, it'd be Xbox. But I think Xbox wants to be a brand that's on every platform imaginable.
And the way that, I mean, honestly, and I say this not as an insult, but look at Sega right now. Sega right now, and we're going to talk about Sega again in a different light, because I even shared my thoughts about this on Twitter. By the way, I'm back on Twitter, everyone.
Don't you mean X? X gonna give it to you.
X gonna give it to you, day in, day out, 24/7, twice on Sunday. Anyway, but Sega left the market after the Dreamcast, and the more we look back, the Dreamcast was revolutionary. But anyway, they've done very well as a third-party developer. It's taken some time, and they have admittedly said that the 3 series that kept them alive were Sonic, Persona, and Yakuza / Like a Dragon. But, now they have a man in charge who, is very prominent in the games industry and wants to focus on the games. And now they're reviving. They're in the middle of a revival. Like Sega, I think, is about to hit a renaissance as a third-party developer. And with Xbox's lineup, they could be the most prominent third-party developer in the world. That is not even up for debate. They have, with Activision Blizzard, even without Activision Blizzard, they already had a good roster. But with Activision Blizzard, they could be unstoppable. They could, and Microsoft would rake in so much money, because we've talked about software is where the money's at, not hardware. So
yeah.
Xbox could easily make back what they purchased Activision within the span of a decade.
Well, yeah, the Call of Duty thing's another aspect too, where it's kind of like, where is that going to go to? Because I think that might also lead credence to them wanting Xbox to be on everything, being like, hey, we're calling, like, I don't know. All of it's interesting. You'll have to kind of wait and see.
Yes, this will be, as they say in
it's
real
an ongoing discussion.
This is a developing story, and we will be covering it to the best of our ability. Don't stop, listening and watching videos,
Yes.
watching, listening. Anyway, all right, but that's our thoughts on that. You want to move on to the next topic you got for us?
This happened today, so it's time for another round of dun, 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 Nintendo Switch 2 rumors, because they don't stop, and they keep on coming, and
can't stop, won't stop, ain't gonna stop.
This keep on coming, and
there's
keep on coming.
release.
Yeah, so this is something that happened earlier this morning. AI Shark, formerly known as Game Shark, said in a recent press release released this morning that it is relaunching in September of 2024 to coincide with the Nintendo Switch 2. So this is the press release. Let me read the first little paragraph here.
There's someone we know.
Yeah. Announces its role as the first licensee of AI Shark's cutting-edge gaming software. Formerly known as Game Shark, AI Shark is set to redefine the gaming landscape with its revolutionary AI-enhanced technology. The innovative gaming software is set to mark a significant leap forward in the gaming experience, bringing enhanced gameplay for beginner-level users. The official launch is planned to coincide with the Nintendo Switch 2 in September of 2024. Now, what does this mean? Because this is the first, we're actually hearing, I'm pretty sure, a major company say, did they break an NDA? Did they break an NDA? I'm curious how this works.
They may have inadvertently broken an NDA.
But here's the question. Does this confirm Nintendo Switch 2? Is it happening this year? Does this confirm it, or are they mistaken, or what?
I think unless there is a correction, which we will, of course, tweet out. So please do follow myself at the most meta on Twitter /X, and follow RJ at Resident Justice on Twitter. We will be, and of course Braille as well, Blinded Braille on Twitter. Anyway, point is, we're going to be, this is another developing story. We will be covering this on this podcast and on social media. If there is a correction, we will immediately share it.
But so far, Nintendo has said nothing.
Nintendo's gonna say jack shit.
Right? Yeah. Well, and AI Shark has an update and said this is incorrect. They put this out.
So unlike what happened a few months, last month with Insomniac, and what happened with Rocksteady, Nintendo doesn't have to say shit, because this is just a company. This isn't an actual data breach. This isn't a data breach into their system. This is just a company saying, yeah, it's coming out this year, and they can always put out a retort to that statement. Not a retort, but a redact. You know what I mean? We didn't mean 2024, September 2024. We meant September 25 or whatever. Point is, the cat. As far as I'm concerned, the cat's out of the bag. We're getting a new Switch in 2024. And honestly,
Which, to be fair, all of us kind of predicted this was going to happen anyway. Like, the writing was on the wall that Switch 2 is this year.
The sun has been setting on the Switch for a while now.
And if you look at their lineup of games this year, which doesn't look bad, by the way. I'm not saying it looks bad. I'm saying it's mostly remakes and remasters, which makes sense because all the developers are working on new stuff for the launch in the fall.
You know what's crazy? A Blue Puppet said the same thing.
I know. People and some weirdos who play with animal skulls got mad at him. It was like, he's a liar. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, Switch 2 most likely 2024. Now this raises interesting questions. September, interesting month. I'm kind of surprised it'd be September. It's in the fall. September seems kind of early though, don't you think?
Well, if you remember, didn't they announce the Switch like fall 2016 and then released it like early 2017?
If I remember correctly, I think Nintendo Switch was announced in October, and then it was announced in October with that reveal video, and then they announced that there's going to be a showcase in what was it, January or February of 2017. The console came out in March.
I'm just looking at the.
It's hard to remember the dates because it was so long ago, but
it was 7 years ago.
I know, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, it was 20. They released the reveal trailer in 2017 because that's what 7 years ago was.
So they revealed the console in 2017. I thought they revealed it in 2016.
I'm trying to see because again, like they pulled. Oh shit! They pulled the reveal trailer.
They did, yeah. You can't find it on their official channel. You have to go to like other channels. Most likely to avoid confusion later. That's been the speculation that they removed that trailer so that when they do the next trailer for the reveal, people don't get confused. You know,
because and the only reason I could see that happening is it's going to be called Nintendo Switch 2.
Or I've been saying forever they should call it Super Nintendo Switch.
I don't like Super Nintendo Switch.
What? That's an awesome name.
No,
I love Super Nintendo Switch.
You're only trying to do it for nostalgia points. Stop.
No, I think it's a legitimately good title.
No, so we're done with the Super era. We're done with the Super and the Extreme and all that other word garbage.
I'm telling you, it's going to be called Super
Nintendo Switch 2 just sounds so nice. It sounds so professional. I love it.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It's boring.
Listen, sometimes bland and boring is good.
No, not always. This is Nintendo we're talking about. They always do weird and wacky things. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be called Super Nintendo Switch. I will put money on it. I will bet $5.
You're here to
I will bet $5 they will be called
I will
Super
not bet
Nintendo
anything.
Switch.
I will not bet anything. But if they do not name it Super Nintendo Switch, you owe Braille and I $5.
That's $10 then. No,
exactly. Fine, you owe me $5 since Braille isn't here.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Either way, I'm calling it now. It's gonna be called. It won't be called Nintendo Switch 2. I will for sure bet on that. It will not be called Nintendo Switch 2. They're not gonna do a numbered version. They've never done numbered consoles,
and that's why I think they will, because like it's gonna be just a better version of the Switch. So it's a sequel.
I don't think that's what it is though.
Nintendo Switch 2.
It's gonna. I understand what you mean. I think it's going to keep the portable aspect, yes, but I do think it's going to be like it's going to feel like the next leap. Like it's going to feel like a new console completely. Like, because if it's just a beefed up Switch, it's not exciting. It's not really a new console. It's just a more powerful version of the Switch. I think it is going to be a similar console, but still very different. I think it's going to be pushing.
That's literally things. The Super Nintendo was literally a more powerful version of the NES.
Yeah, but it had a different controller. It had like a different.
They added more stuff. It was still the same thing. Like,
but that's like I don't know, man. I don't know. My point being though is that I've been predicting this for a while with Nintendo Switch 2. I think it's going to use AR capabilities, much like the 3DS, where it had like the AR camera. I think you're going to see AR capabilities in the console. I think you're going to see a focus on the online experience a bit more. I think you're going to see more on the connectivity aspect of it a bit more.
That mean they're going to upgrade their servers?
No, it's Nintendo. The servers.
Then I don't care.
Well, we'll see though. But my point being though is I think they're going to like the portability aspect will still be the main focus, like the main gimmick. But they have to I think they're going to throw in something else. My guess is I don't think they're going to do full virtual reality. I think it's going to be more like augmented reality. You know, that's something I feel like they could push more. Maybe emphasize like what's it called with the controllers and the feedback, the haptic feedback, like that kind of stuff. We'll see though. We'll see. It's just that Nintendo always does like a gimmick with their consoles. I just feel like they're gonna add something to the Switch experience to make it different from what came before, just to differentiate and make it more unique, so it's like more of a compelling buy for people. You know?
No. I understand that, and I think they will do like it will be unique. It'll be a Nintendo experience. That's what I'm guaranteeing it on. But like Nintendo, I'm gonna put this. And now I've lost my point. Lovely. Anyhow, I've forgotten my points, and I'm not even gonna try to think about it. I am excited.
Don't
though.
blame me. It wasn't my fault.
No, it was your fault.
What'd I do?
I lost my train of thought. No, but yeah, I think I'll just end by saying like I am excited for this new Switch. I think, I do think that there will be some games that are cross-gen between the old Switch and new Switch. I just hope in general that if there's one, again, I've said this since the first Switch 2 rumor started. If there's one thing I hope the Switch 2 is backwards compatible. I want to be able to play my Switch library on my Switch, on my new console.
Yeah, this console has to be backwards compatible. If it's not, it's going to be a major failure. Like you cannot afford to not have back. Now, that is another question. Will they do the cartridge-based console again? Or if they don't, that's going to be scary because how do you get backwards compatibility?
They have to then. Yeah, they absolutely have
to. It's got to be cartridge-based, yeah.
I mean, yeah, because like that's how you can't have a console with two different game inputs in it. That's just not possible. I don't think.
I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, well, it could be a different cartridge format, maybe. Because remember, like the 3DS, you could put the DS cartridges in there, but the 3DS cartridges had a different shape.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
They could do something like that, maybe.
It'll be definitely something like that.
Yeah. We'll see, though. We'll see. I mean, like I said, guys, the Nintendo Switch 2 rumors, they never stop. But hopefully, now it's like starting to come into focus. Now it's starting to be like, okay, stuff.
Yeah, we're finally getting our vision of what the Switch 2 Electric Boogaloo.
It seems more feasible now. Like it's actually tangible. It's starting to feel tangible. Like it's actually like a real thing happening. You know.
Oh, I can't wait to see what certain people say when the Switch 2 is announced. So, I think it could be announced at whatever the direct is February.
No, I don't think February.
Not revealed, but like like they did with the Switch.
Like a teaser, kind of.
Oh, we have one more thing to show you, and the one more thing is the new console. We will reveal this during in the summer, and it'll be
Yeah, my guess is I could see them doing a teaser video and then saying more information to come summer 2024, or they could do the reveal in a random video, or honestly, my prediction has always been I think they're gonna do a full blown showcase direct in June, like their E3 slotted June direct, and then that'll be for the. Here's the console. Here's what it does. Here are the launch titles. Here are some of the games we have planned coming out for it. Here you go. Here's the release date.
This is a safe that is the safest bet, and I'm gonna agree with you. Again, I think if there is a February direct, and it looks like there will be,
which most likely, there will be. Yeah,
there will be. Hopefully, it's on my birthday again. Because I loved last year's direct. That was so much fun. But yeah, I think that they'll do the teaser, like you said, and then on their website they'll release a press statement saying we're excited to reveal more in June. Please look forward to it. The very typical Nintendo an announcement, excited statement type thing.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's everything we got. We're both looking forward to what is possible with this thing. I can't wait to see the controller layout and the UI.
Yeah, and hopefully they actually have like themes and like music for the eShop
We
this
were
time.
okay. We were not missing anything with themes and backdrop and music. I'm sorry. Like I
Well,
love
with themes, no, we didn't really need themes. I do wish there was eShop music though, because the eShop I don't think was great on the Switch. It was very slow.
the Wii shop channel spoiled an entire generation, and now
Because it
like,
was good. It was
but
really
it's not
good.
needed. RJ, like
It enhances the user
no,
experience.
no, no,
Yes,
it
it
doesn't.
does. Yes,
No,
it
it
absolutely
doesn't. I'm
does.
there to buy games,
You,
not
do you
listen to
just
elevator
do?
music.
Why are you so boring?
I just look. I'm here. This is like when I go to a
It's
store
meant to
and
be
they
fun.
I go to a store and they throw a bunch of shit at my face. I'm not there for that. I'm there for the one thing I'm here for, and then I'm gonna leave. That's my shopping
Yeah,
experience.
but again, like
I
add to the
don't
user experience, like just like the
usually.
shopping experience,
I
like
don't
make it special.
explore. I am a get in, get out type of person. I don't explore. That's just
Well, that's your problem. You gotta
unless I'm actually
explore.
interested in stuff. I don't explore. Like if I go to like a Ross, I don't know what fucking Walmart. Let's say Walmart because it's generic. Um, if I'm there to get a shirt at Walmart, I'm gonna get the shirt and then get out. I'm not gonna get a shirt, um, and do all the other shit. Anyway, themes and music. I will say at a personal flair. I can't, because it's the same. Because people could look at me. Oh, Meta, you have the Spider-Man PlayStation and the controller. What about that stuff? I'm like, yeah, but it's also tangible. I can touch it. It's real. I can't touch a theme. I can't touch a shop music. Like, because for a moment I thought you were talking about like music to play in the HUD when you're like in your HUD looking for a game to play. Like,
Well, I mean, you could do that too, or like maybe like 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 when you hover over a PS5 game, it plays music.
okay,
Like
I
do
will
something like
admit,
that.
I will admit that is a guilty pleasure. I do love
Oh,
because it feels.
you like that, but when it comes to music for the
Listen. If
shops or
no, no,
anything
no, no,
else,
no, 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 no,
no,
no.
no.
Let me explain. Let me explain. For that, it started on the PS3. It felt like I put the disc in and I'm metaphorically opening the door a bit, like cracking it, and I can hear the world that I'm about to enter. It felt very yeah. It felt nice. It felt good. Like I was like, it got me excited. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to jump into this game. Like it, I like that. I will admit, I like that. I am done.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, you know what? Fuck it. Give him everything. Give him shop music. Give him fucking themes. Give
I'm
every
just saying,
goddamn
like
thing.
make some pizzazz it up a little
No, no,
bit.
no,
You
no, no.
know?
I'm fine. I'm with you now.
Okay.
I can't play this fool anymore. Anyway,
Okay.
on to the other bit of news.
So, this happened today as well at the time of recording. Rocksteady put out a statement and they are officially lifting the NDA for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League's Alpha, something that all three of us played, actually. We just couldn't talk about it. But now we can talk about it. We can't show any footage, but we can talk about it.
I will say before we share our opinions, Braille shared his opinions on what he thought. They're on his Twitter. If you want to see what he thought, please go check him out on Twitter. Again, at Blinded Braille. But I'll let RJ go first with what he thought of the slice that we played of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. RJ, you have the floor.
It's okay.
I want to say that we did not plan that. We did not plan that. It's just a genuine IRL reaction. I really thought you were going to go into some deep dive. It's okay.
I mean, it's fine. It's okay.
Is it as bad as everyone has feared?
No, but it's not amazing either. I think it's just okay. But maybe it's because talking about my experience with it, I played a little bit with Blinded actually to try out some of the co-op elements. He played as Deadshot, and then I played as Harley Quinn, I think, if I remember correctly. Harley's fine to play as. So the alpha opens up with you doing like a tutorial playing as all four of the characters to get a feel on their moveset and their traversal options. Then after that, you pick a character and it starts the story, and then you go through the story, and then you go through the tutorials and all that stuff. So I picked Harley, obviously, and she was fine to play as. I'll be honest though, I don't love the traversal in this game. At least Harley's traversal. I was not a fan of it.
The back grapple and all that.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right. Like, and the cooldowns got really annoying. Like, I felt like I couldn't really move very fluidly. The other, like, I don't know. I feel like Deadshot and King Shark have the best traversal in the game, and that kind of is a problem because it's like now I'm just like, I don't know. They seem like the characters. I don't know. Gameplay wise, it's fine. It's like a shooter. I mean, like it's got like some decent moments. I mean, some decent gameplay. Like they have like some cool mechanics that like, oh, like shoot them up, turn blue, hit them with melee attack, recover shields, that kind of thing. And they got like some. I mean, there's probably more customization you can do once you get some upgrade options and you go further through the story. Trying to think of what else. I think the most interesting part of the story of the game is the story. Like, there's some like I feel like the voice acting was on point. The cutscenes look tremendous. Like the cutscene direction's very strong, actually. So if anything, like the story, I feel like is the most compelling part of the package.
Yeah.
It's just the rest of it. I'm just like, it's fine. I mean, like, it's not horrible. I want to make that clear. It's not horrible.
Not good. It's not bad, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, honestly, maybe it'll be more fun as a game if you're playing it with like a couple people and like doing voice chat. That seems where this game might shine is like a co-op experience.
You know what else? You know what other game had that thing where it's like it's not fun to play single player, but it's fun to play with friends?
Which one?
Avengers.
Yeah, but I mostly played Avengers by myself though. So what does that say?
Oh, I did too. None of my friends wanted to play that. They're like, I ain't getting that shit game. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm just gonna be stuck here with my pile of garbage.
I mean, yeah, but Avengers had a good story too, so it's like
it did have a good story again, but I fear so much this game is going to be exactly like Avengers.
I think Suicide Squad's DOA. I really do. I don't think it's going to recover from the PR
and
disaster.
That's why they lifted the NDA. I said this on
Oh
on
yeah,
Twitter.
yeah, because the previews that came out from the industry, like from IGN and all those
they hate
outlets. Oh yeah, it was pretty negative. Yeah.
They all hate it, and again, this is not going to save their.
Well, the YouTubers were a little bit more kind than some of the websites were. I feel like, if you notice.
Yeah, and this is why they're the industry. They have to go to them to promote their games. With content creators, they don't have to give them their game. So, and certain people that like to shill and stand on a soapbox, will never say a bad word to them because they don't want that sweet partnership taken from them. That's just the reality of the situation. We are not that big. I am not afraid. We have another word for what okay is called here, and it's a word Merlin and I use a lot. This game is good. It's okay. I mean, it's a lot of mid. It's coming out in mid. It's just a lot of mid, man. It was fine. I played as King Shark because I'm the tank. I like to go in there. I'm the big dude who loves to smash, wreck shit up, and I will admit, gameplay was just okay. I did love. It's so I understand though that what one person said, it is a bit of sensory overload because everything's moving so fucking fast. You can't really like keep up with everything. At least for me, it was.
I think at some points like the UI and like there's just a lot. Like the game is very busy visually.
Yeah, and it's a lot. This story though, there was those leaks that came out. We did talk about those in a previous video. If you want our thoughts on those, go watch that video. Leaky Lake is what it's called. But this story, we don't know what's true. We don't know what's false. This game's reputation will depend on the story. If the story actually is like rock steady quality good, it should get some redemption. And this game is also going to hopefully, because there is the chance that this game can have a resurrection, just like a few other games that had a bad launch. I kind of want it. I do want this game to be successful. I don't want this game to be like Avengers, because what screwed up Avengers was that it released way too soon. It had a shit ton of bugs and stuff at launch, and then they had to push back all the DLC and shit to fix the game first before they could do. And by
yeah, and I want to clarify something, like, from the experience both you and I had. Like, it ran very well. Like, I had
it did.
I had no technical issues with, like, in terms of polish. I feel like this is a very polished experience so far from what I got to play. Like, even for an alpha, I was like, yeah, I'm not running into any major glitches or issues at all. Like, I'm quite impressed. And there's stuff in there that's interesting that, like, could make for more. I will say all the characters feel like they play unique. None of them feel like they're copy and paste. Like, even though they all use guns, I feel like there's enough difference.
That's the only copy and paste part I would. That's the only
with
copy
the
and
guns.
paste.
The guns. Yeah. But even then, like, you know, you have like your sidearm, like your pistol or your machine pistol, and then you have like your rifle, your assault rifle.
It would limit the customization, but I kind of wish that certain guns were limited to certain classes. Just because
like shotguns will only be for one character.
Yeah. Like it makes then it makes it feel like it's an actual squad, and each person's covering a certain bit of that. You know, like again, King Shark is the big dude, so he should get the big guns. Boomerang is someone that can run guns, Boomerang's someone that can run around really fast, so he should be get in close, shoot him up, run out. Deadshot's of course the sniper, and then Harley, like you said, she's flying over the map with semi-autos. Like that could make for
like machine pistols or machine guns. Yeah,
I think if they did that, that would make it very interesting, because then you have to pick.
But they might have not wanted to do that just simply because of like they want it to be fluid, or you don't feel like you need to be like locked into a certain character. That way, you like each character, like you can make your own build.
Sometimes limitations can help, though. That's my thing. Like I felt, like don't get me wrong, I carried miniguns and shotguns, so like I was both. But if I have to be stuck with the big guns, then that's fine. Like I'm gonna do a shit ton of damage. But and just some things don't make sense, right? Like King Shark with a pistol does not make sense to me.
Yeah, that King Shark's more of a machine gun, LMG, minigun kind of character.
Like he carries the heavy stuff. Again, big guy. Deadshot with a shotgun. What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing? Deadshot, I feel like is mostly going to be assault rifle and sniper.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's why I'm saying like certain weapon classes should be for certain characters. But we shall see. Some of the DLC they have coming out, they're going to try to do the same thing and make them not feel samey. Which that is a thing Avengers did that ticked off a lot of people, myself included. It really felt like a lot of the characters.
The DLC pipeline. Again, let me just say this real quick. Like, I liked Avengers, but the way they handled the post-launch content was horrible.
Abysmal.
Because here's the thing. The first character that was post-launch was Kate Bishop. That's fine. I have no issue with that. Who is the second character, Meta?
Hawkeye.
What are both of those characters use?
Bows.
Okay.
Now you could
argue they were slightly different in terms of like
they both shoot arrows. That's the main crux.
Like they are like the exact same character. The only difference was I think melee attacks and like traversal. That was it.
This is how bad it gets. And then of course the third character I believe was Black Panther. I believe. Yeah, War for Wakanda. War for Wakanda was a big expansion. They were really happy about that one.
And that character actually felt very unique. He didn't play
he did feel unique. And then who did we get after that, RJ? Who was the next character?
Was it Winter Soldier?
No.
Who was it?
It was a worse character.
Who was
it?
Yes,
I don't care if it sounds like Fem 4. Jane Foster.
Oh, Jane Foster.
To promote the fucking movie. I don't, because again,
that was definitely cross promotion. Yeah,
I think that Hawkeye and Kate Bishop being 1 and 2 were also cross promotion, because you remember Hawkeye came out around the same time that Kate Bishop's DLC did.
Yep, that's true.
And so,
which again, I have no issue with that because I understand why you have to like do the cross promotion. It makes sense.
I do take issue because brand synergy is holding Marvel back from creativity. Like,
I get that, but like the money, it's a money thing too. Like, listen,
it is. Then it's greed. Like, it doesn't make this.
But that's
good.
the thing, though. It should never have been Kate Bishop. They should have just done Clint Barton, Hawkeye, and then they should have moved on right to
introduce them later. Here's the thing.
Or space them out differently so it doesn't feel, And then who was after
Winter Soldier?
It was Winter Soldier who played just like
Cap.
Just like Cap and a little bit of Black Widow, like they copied those moves.
Exactly. Now, what is
and
bad
then and then later we were gonna get copies again of Hulk with She-Hulk and Iron Man with War Machine.
I wouldn't have minded She-Hulk.
I wouldn't have either. But here's the thing, though. They're just copying the movesets of other characters. Now we know why, because they were losing funding and like it seems like the game was being limited a lot. Basically, after the Black Panther expansion, they never got that level of expansion again, where they could do like
no, they didn't. That was like the big, that was the one and done like big expansion, which is sad, really. But and honestly, that storyline is just gonna forever be like frozen because it's never. I don't think it'll ever be revisited. Unless like unless a comic or something picks it up and finishes the story that way.
No one's gonna care.
No one's gonna care. But and like in War Machine, like they were in the middle of doing War Machine when they were told like, hey, we're gonna stop service because War Machine ended up being a Iron Man skin. They just turned it into an Iron Man skin. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. So the point being though is that. Hopefully, Suicide Squad has learned from the mistakes of Avengers, and they've had enough time to cook that they got those post-launch plans really nailed down to where it's going to be okay. Hopefully.
I'm at least going to say, hopefully they're going to handle the post-launch content release better than Avengers did. That's the only
because some of the stuff that's been leaking sounds really cool. The one thing that comes from Miller, I forget his full name, but Miller on Ross. Twitter, Miller Ross, I think, who was the guy who leaked a bunch of stuff when Avengers was coming out. He's a data miner. He kind of goes in and kind of looks at files and stuff and kind of really gets in the nitty gritty. He basically discovered and found out that around October and November, around that fall season, they're doing their major expansion for Suicide Squad, and it's going to take you to a brand new location. It's going to be, you're going to go to Gotham City.
We're going to go back to Gotham.
You're going to go back to Gotham City, and it's going to be a whole new map. And if that's the case, that's going to be cool.
Now,
if they do that correctly, and they have like a really cool character launching alongside that, that could be a pretty cool expansion.
He also said a bunch of other stuff about that. I'm going to try to find that again. Yeah. Okay. I will say this part. He did say after that. The reason why is that the winter, it'll be the fall time, close to Halloween. Gonna play on the Arkham nostalgia a bit, but also season 4 would have Deathstroke. Deathstroke would be season 4. That'd be the new hero for season 4. Yeah, here it is. I stress season 3 because someone asked him on Twitter, is there a season that might make anyone that sees it have to buy it instantly? Season 3. That'll take us through Halloween and Black Friday. Big sales window, lots of Arkham nostalgia, cameos. You literally go to Gotham. It'll be a big moment for the game post-launch. Then they follow that up with Deathstroke in season 4. It's a strong pitch. The part that gets me is where did it go? Lots of Arkham nostalgia, cameos. Anyway, and then someone also asked him, going back to Gotham will be crazy. I'm also guessing that's the season where a certain character who was thought to have died comes back. Not the character you're thinking, but at that point it'll be clear what's up, and anticipation for that character should be rising. Probably lots of hints and teases. And then he says that the hint he gives for that character is in his article. Yeah. I don't know if you can find that article to say, but some people are guessing it's going to be Nightwing.
Now,
yeah. So we can NDA's lifted. We can talk about this.
Okay, yeah. So, what do we want to talk about in terms of what we saw in terms of the story? Because this,
I'm going to go ahead and just say it.
This game is like 3 weeks away. So, like, I don't know.
3 weeks away. It's the beginning of the game. We basically played the beginning of the game.
So we we started. So the after you play the tutorial and pick your character, it opens up with Amanda Waller visiting Arkham Asylum, and she basically recruits the Suicide Squad and takes them to Metropolis. I would like
to skip ahead a bit just because everyone's seen that in the trailers.
Yeah. But basically, you go through it, and it feels like. Did you play until the it told you that you were done with the alpha? Okay. So it basically ends seemingly teasing that the first boss fight is against Green Lantern.
Yeah.
So that's that's the first boss fight and the first Justice League member you're going to try and kill is Green Lantern.
Now, the part that and I am jumping way ahead, but the part I want to specifically focus on is this. The Justice League is fully controlled by Brainiac. They are slowly been trying to get all the members of Brainiac's been trying to get all the members of the Justice League slowly to be turned and corrupted.
And Metropolis is fucked, by the way. Like
almost
everyone is dead and their Brainiac monsters. Like everything.
Yeah, so this is already a hellscape. There is going to be no Superman game after this. Anyway, I have my thoughts about that. But anyway, the part I want to focus on is this. I will say this. This is a massive spoiler for the game. If you would like to not hear this, please skip ahead to, I'll have in the description a time jump where you can jump to avoid this if you don't want the game to be spoiled. This was massive.
How about we do this real quick? Hold on. I'm
oh god, what are you working on? Are you putting a spoiler alert thing over the?
There you go. Once that gets off the screen, then you know.
The hell did you? Okay.
Banners.
Well, where's our banners at the bottom? You know what? It doesn't matter.
It's fine. It's temporary. On the fly.
It is temporary. Anyway, once you see this out of the corner, we're done talking spoilers. But okay, this is the part I wanted to talk about. So, again, they are fully corrupted. They are fully under Brainiac's control. When Brainiac gets Batman, basically what happens is every one of the Bat family is killed by him off screen. Alfred, Barbara, Tim, Jason, a newly reformed Jason Red Hood, I want to point out.
Wait, what?
And Dick Grayson.
Where did you see that? I don't remember that.
They killed Tim off screen, dude.
Did they say that in the alpha?
Yes. Did you not hear that?
I don't think I heard that. What part was that?
Hold on.
Because remember, this is like a few weeks ago, and honestly, I forgot.
Maybe that was one of the leaks, but I feel like I heard them say something about it in
I think that was leaks. I don't think that was in the alpha.
Hold on. I want to make sure I'm not crazy.
I mean, you could be right. I just don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
I'm looking. I know that he has a boss fight, but I mean, when you hear how he's talking, he would not allow the Bat family to live, to try to stop him and Brainiac, because they would try to absolutely stop Brainiac. So Batman taking care of them makes sense. In terms of the story, I hate it, but it makes sense. But I just can't imagine that Rocksteady would just immediately tear down everything they have built up to this point, unless again they just want to kill the Arkhamverse altogether.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm anticipating that they're gonna do a reboot.
I could have sworn I heard.
I think you're talking about leaks, man. I don't think that was in the alpha. Again, maybe you're right. I don't remember that at all.
But yeah, I mean, they did show though that how Batman comes back. You can take that spoiler thing off. I feel like we're done.
Okay.
They do reveal how Batman came back to be part of the Justice League after the end of Arkham Knight.
And this is said after Arkham Knight, and you kind of get to see where his character went. There's a little section I think it's in the Hall of Justice where they do like a whole little Batman section, kind of like a museum of like who Batman is, the adventures he's had in the Arkham trilogy, who is like, he kind of comments over some of the villains and stuff. And like, there's a section after where they show what happened after Wayne Manor blew up and like what became of Batman and all that, and kind of like where he went. They don't really show, for those who know about Arkham Knight, they don't really show like Scarecrow gas Batman, like the tease they had at the end of Arkham Knight. But I think the Fear Toxin Batman. that seems to be something they may save for the boss fight, where you get to see him use the fear toxin. Which, if that's the case, that's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be
Yeah. But we knew at the end of Arkham Knight, if you truly got the Nightfall Protocol, well, anyway.
Well, you had to complete the game, yeah.
Yeah, you had to complete the game. That Batman has been using Scarecrow's toxin, and he has transformed the Batman myth because now people know he's Bruce Wayne.
So it's and it's kind of keeping the fear alive. But basically, it was kind of revealed that Gotham got cleaned up. Basically, like he was basically like at a certain point, Gotham got cleaned up, and he's like, okay. And then the Justice League come around. He's like, okay, I'll join.
I also just I feel like that's a missed opportunity though, because like you could do like. I know it's cliche. It is so cliche at this point. It's really what every person goes to when it comes to Batman. It's either a year one Batman or this version, but a cool like Dark Knight Returns-esque story I thought would have been cool.
Oh, like an old man Batman?
Yeah, or an elderly Batman, or hell, maybe you even just skip Batman, like maybe Bruce Wayne's dead, Batman is gone, or so they think, and then
Batman's like Dick Grayson or somebody else.
That I mostly lean toward Batman Beyond. I want a Batman Beyond Arkham game, goddammit.
Yeah,
I want a Batman Beyond Arkham game, goddammit. I want a Batman Beyond game in general, but Arkham just set it up for me. Like, the Legend of Batman, Batman, he did exist.
Real quick too. Anyway. For those who may be curious, they've not explained so far why there were 2 Deadshots. If you remember, that was a big talking point. That actually is mentioned in the story. They kind of comment about that. It's like,
isn't Deadshot white?
Yeah, isn't Deadshot white? Like Deadshot was in Arkham City, wasn't he? It's like, apparently that was a fake or something. They haven't really explained that yet. That's something I feel like the story is going to address later, but they haven't addressed that yet.
He's in Arkham Origins, Arkham City. Yeah, so it's in. I don't think it's
there's canon. Something going on with that, but like they haven't really explained what's going on yet.
I don't think it's canon yet. But I don't think it's canon anymore. But the Assault on Arkham movie also had that version of Deadshot.
Yeah,
it's not. The reason I say it's not canon is because the Suicide Squad game is, like the founding Suicide Squad, kind of like the founding of the Suicide Squad. It feels like so. Assault on Arkham, I think, is no longer. It's like a spinoff of the Arkhamverse now.
Yeah, it's basically like a Elseworlds thing.
It's an Elseworld thing, and it's fucking amazing. If you haven't, please watch that movie. It's so good.
Yeah. So we'll see where it goes. I mean, the story. I mean, it's compelling. They got some stuff going on with it. I mean, obviously Wonder Woman's a big character in that.
And there's gonna be. Yeah. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
No, I'm saying so. I'll have to wait and see. I mean, I feel like again the story is going to be the most interesting part of the game. If the story can stay consistent and stay consistently good, maybe it's got a chance. Maybe.
And I will say this: I can't speak for RJ or Braille. I don't care about spoilers for this game. I want to know what the hell is going on. I don't care if it's out of context spoilers. I want to know what the hell is going on in this game, because if I'm going to spend money on this, I want to know that I'm getting a good story. I don't like having my time wasted with games. And hell, also, they had to drop it the same day Persona 3 Reload comes out. I'm sorry. Like, that's going to take priority every year.
I know. And here's the thing, right? It's like, I'm not against getting the game.
It's not day one, though.
I kind of want to, because I feel like if I'm going to play it, I'm going to play it when it comes out and experience the story. It just has the worst release date imaginable. It's coming out in the middle of, like, a gaming blitz.
A JRPG blitz.
Yeah. A JRPG blitz, it's like hundreds of hours of gameplay, right? So it's kind of like
you could buy every game that comes out in these next 3 months and be fine for the rest of the year. I think that's an absolute honest statement.
Between Final Fantasy Rebirth and Persona 3 alone. Also, too, don't forget Tekken 8's coming out too around Suicide Squad.
Tekken 8, and that's a fighting game that has a long story.
But that's still a huge release.
Yeah. So it just has the unfortunate. They thought they were getting ahead of everything by skipping all these big releases in the later half of last year.
Yeah, which I understand. Honestly, I think the delay was a good thing.
Hell, March would have been a better release time, I think.
Or later in February.
No, because then you're competing with 7.
Yeah, but 7's at the end of February, isn't it? It's like February 28th or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's like at the very end of February. So it's like if you would have released it like mid-February, like maybe like for like the week of Valentine's Day or something, you know?
Well, there's games coming out the week of Valentine's Day.
Maybe. I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know. I don't know. The game's gonna do what it's gonna do at this point, you know.
Yeah, and I think Miller is right that the Black Friday sales and what they present as post-launch content is going to definitely either persuade or the
Get
thing that, and
people
again,
interested.
some of the stuff that Braille and I did see, we will not mention it here, but the one, and the character I'm talking about, RJ. If that is really like true screenshots from the game, and that is a DLC character, I'm gonna be so pissed because I am a fan of this character.
For the Gotham expansion.
I made the joke that makes the most sense for that to be the character. That has to be the character that comes with the Gotham pack. But again, I am a big fan of this character. However, it was a crutch the Arkhamverse used. I'm not a fan of Arkham Knight's story fully. It's because they backpedaled and couldn't commit to what they did in City. But not fully. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We'll just have to see. I do think that the post-launch content is where this game could find a second wind, especially as the year goes on. And that's the thing about live service games. The longer the year goes on, yeah, there are going to be games you still have to compete with. But if you're showing an improvement in quality, people may consider you over another game. But yeah, do you have any final thoughts on Suicide Squad, RJ?
Well, yeah, you know what? It's my last thoughts are, we'll see how this game does, but this game's been development for a very long time. They spent a ton of money on it, and it's very scary that this could potentially be a massive financial flop that could result in studio layoffs and closures. I really hope that's not happening in the rest of the gaming industry.
You're doing a perfect segue. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, so my final thoughts are sort of the same. Like, I don't think WB Games will close Rocksteady for this. This is really, I think, their first flop.
I mean, they've been consistent. Well, I mean, like, potential flop.
Arkham Knight was mixed. Arkham Knight, I don't care what anybody says. Knight was mixed at launch.
But here's the thing, Arkham Knight sold well, though, so it doesn't really matter. And, like, the game rallied. It was just the PC release that was the problem. It was the PC port.
And people did have a problem with how predictable the story was. Certain elements of the story was. And that's. But
in hindsight, that game's aged better though over time.
Graphically and gameplay, graphically especially, that game has aged very phenomenally well. It looks like a modern day game. I know people really want a 60 FPS patch, and honestly, I think Rocksteady having a PS5 port, a next-gen port of that game, would definitely help goodwill, because then you get your 60 FPS, you get your all the skins and shit. I mean, them releasing the Batman skin was just awesome. They didn't have to do that, but they did. So they're trying to keep some of that goodwill from the Arkham trilogy, but a lot of it is going to get flushed down the toilet with this game. That's just going to happen. It's dead on arrival, folks. And as RJ said, when games like this are dead on arrival, we're going to segue into our last talking point. When games are dead on arrival, it's not good for the industry because, yeah, massive layoffs happen. A lot of layoffs happened last year, and layoffs are already happening this year. And you see all these layoffs. You're seeing all these live service games. And even, last year's Game Awards, while we did think it was okay, I have had time to, sit back and think about it. And actually, no, it wasn't as good as we thought. We did enjoy some of the announcements, but it wasn't a good show overall. And, this leads to the proverbial bubble that AAA games have become popping, or I'm saying deflating. Like it's finally where the bubble's popped and now we're deflating. So the main crux of today's episode, or the main talking point, is the AAA game bubble and what is going on basically in AAA games. We had our first episode was about the big three companies, Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox. What's going on with them? And now we are having an episode talking about the AAA games industry as a whole. Well, the games industry as a whole, but mostly AAA games. Anyway, so RJ and I watched a video by fellow YouTube and content creator Arlo, who we both love. And I think Braille would say he likes him too. anyhow, that video was titled basically talking about the AAA bubble finally popping, and he goes into by saying, with what happened at the Game Awards this year, it was very bland. It was a lot of the games looked samey, and that sameness is it feels like now more than ever these companies are making games not based off passion but off of a checklist. Like it has to be this and this, or this and this. And honestly, like again, we both watched the video. I think he's right, but I'll let RJ give his thoughts first. RJ, what is your thoughts on the AAA game bubble popping and it deflating, and Arlo's video that we watched?
Things are looking pretty dire, I would say. I mean, like, I think that here's the thing. I think when it comes to the console makers and their exclusives, for the most part, they're fine. I do have some concerns with Sony, but Xbox, I feel like,
yeah,
I feel like Xbox, they're making some interesting moves, some confusing moves, but I think they're doing okay. Nintendo's in their own weird little land. Like Nintendo's doing just fine. They're in their own weird land, doing their own weird stuff. They're gonna be fine. What's concerning more so is the third parties. I would say your EAs, your Ubisofts, your Warner Brothers, like those companies, those conglomerates. Like,
yeah,
that stuff is getting concerning because I feel like we're reaching, and like I don't know, like it's hard to put into words. It's just, it feels like things are getting scary because I think budgets are getting way too big. It's a problem that the movie industry has been having the last couple of years too. Come to think of it, rising budgets, not enough care given to talent being treated like disposable. Massive flops, massive financial losses that result in more safe, mediocre products. It's just, there's just a lot of issues going on. I'm not sure. It's a very interesting conversation because, like, there's a lot of stuff going on. I think, obviously, the layoffs are a big talking point. The layoffs last year are really bad in terms of, like, so many layoffs were happening in multiple companies.
And Jeff Keighley did not have the balls to say anything, and I'm calling it like I'm seeing it. He didn't have the balls. There were protests outside the Game Awards about the layoffs. I do have an article that I am going to read about the layoffs last year. I saved it from last time we had an episode, but the phrase "too big to fail" is thrown around a lot at gaming, and I agree and disagree. I don't think we will ever have another, because a lot of people have been doomer mindset. Oh, we're gonna have another crash like in the 80s. No. Gaming
it's not gonna be like that. Yeah,
gaming was still in its infancy. That's crazy to say, but it was in its infancy even in the 80s. It had only been around for like 20 years. It was still in its infancy. I do think, however, because this is the point that Arlo made. I think that the AAA, I don't think the entire game industry is going to feel this effect. I think specifically the AAA industry is going to feel this. I think that the bubble is not necessarily gaming as a whole, but the AAA bubble. It's going to definitely deflate. There's going to be some restructuring and downsizing, and all the stuff that comes with that are layoffs, studios shutting down, stuff like that. And that is a good thing because it's become an unsustainable entity in its current form. And like you said, with movies too, these bloated budgets for no reason, and they don't see a lot of return because there's no way that you could get that much return in just the regular lifespan. You'd have to extend the release just to even get close to it. Now, some are able to do that because of the success of previous films and the legacy of the IP. However, a lot of the games coming out that we saw at the Game Awards were the same as Suicide Squad. Battle Royale, well, not Battle Royale, but yeah, some are Battle Royale, but looter shooter game, Battle Pass system, all that shit, right? I still blame Fortnite. Plague on the industry.
It ain't Fortnite's fault. Maybe people should just stop trying to copy them.
Even Epic themselves, damn well that's not going to happen. Even Epic themselves had layoffs last year. And it's because they got too ambitious. Like, what's going to happen is, And even I will say this as far as PlayStation goes, because this happened a while back, and I'm so upset that we forgot about this. Remember when PlayStation shut down Japan Studio?
Oh yeah.
Guess what Japan Studio was to PlayStation?
I wasn't like one of their main developers.
It was a main developer, but they produced AA titles, not AAA, AA.
Like more mid-budget games.
They made mid-budget games, and that's what I think. I think looking now that a bit of time has passed, them closing Japan Studio is one of the reasons why PlayStation is suffering right now, because they have no damn exclusives, and that's just a fact of life. All their exclusives, they're doing this because they don't want to hold responsibility for their shitty actions. But they're saying, oh, all the games that we have like the marketing rights to and exclusivity with, their third party, those are first party titles. No, they are fucking not PlayStation. No, they are not. They are third party exclusives. And that's it. You don't, just because you own the marketing rights does not mean it's an exclusive. It's exclusive to your marketing, but it is not an exclusive to your brand. It is not a PlayStation only game. Like they're doing this legal jargon, this oh my god, this wordage is just purposely intended to make it seem like they're not in dire straits, but they are.
Well, that's another big thing. Like I feel like the industry has really removed the AA game. Like they don't like. Well, not completely.
For the most part.
That new Prince of Persia game's coming out, and I guess it's kind of AA. Would you say
that is a AA game?
Yeah. So
it's not completely removed, because there are some indie games that are actually AA quality and all that. But Japan Studio was the heart and soul of PlayStation. They produced so many games, and this pissed me off too. They're making a fucking Gravity Rush movie, a game that fans have been dying for a third entry, a game that people wanted to be successful, and PlayStation killed the franchise. They killed the studio, and now they're using the corpse to make money. That pisses me off so bad. I'm not even a big fan of that series. I just feel upset for the fans. Now, some are happy that Gravity Rush is being mentioned as a film, but I just feel like it's wrong. Like it's like, hey, we're not going to make a new game based off this, but we're going to make something else. It's like, bro, focus on what got you here to the dance, Sony. Like, goddamn, I'm so upset with what Sony has become. I'm so upset. But you know, they're just one company in this big problem. Ubisoft was another company Arlo mentioned. They swore themselves to live service games, and that really has not done them any favors. Rainbow Six Siege has gotten Rainbow Six Siege. It has its fan base, but not a lot of people are going to jump on it now, I believe. Sea of Thieves. Skull and Bones is dead on arrival.
Is that game still coming out?
That game is supposed to still be coming out. It's been in development for a fucking decade, y'all. A decade is 10 years. This game should have already been canceled. And then EA's had the, BioWare, God bless them. They had Anthem come out, and Anthem was a total failure. There's the ones that are good at it are going to probably stay around. Like I do see Apex Legends staying around. That was a success for EA and Respawn at the cost of Titanfall, but whatever. I think Fortnite, Apex Legends, Destiny, those will still be around. But yeah, all in all, I think I do think the bubble is deflating. It has already burst. It's slowly deflating, and we're going to see a lot more layoffs, a lot more hurt on the developers, and it's not going to be good. But at the same time, it's needed. It's so needed, because I hope that with this, we'll hopefully see some companies wise up and be like, oh shit, you need AA to balance in between the AAAs. Mm-hmm. It's almost as if this was a strategy that's been used for decades, worked really well, but people didn't give a shit because they weren't making as much money as they could, so they scrapped it. And now, guess what? We got to find it in the garbage can, because we actually do need it. Yeah, it's
what a crazy situation all this is, huh?
It's such a mess. I'm gonna read the the article because this was a very big point for me last year. Since I do want to be a writer in the games industry. This is very personal to me. And it just shows that there is no job security in the games industry. There's not a lot of job security in the entertainment industry in general, but games industry just there's not a lot of protection. So this is an article from The Verge. Ash Parrish is the one who wrote it. And it's titled 2023's great games were overshadowed by dark cloud of layoffs. And she goes on to say, layoffs are an unfortunate reality of any industry, but the scope and scale of video game layoffs in 2023 are far beyond a typical year. More than any specific video game or piece of news, layoffs defined the past 12 months. Companies, large and small, have felt their impact. Unofficial figures estimate 9,000 workers have been affected. And at the heart of it all are corporations that valued growth at all costs, including people. In September, Epic Games laid off 830 employees. In a statement, CEO Tim Sweeney wrote, "We've been spending way more money than we earn. I had long been optimistic that we could power through this transition without layoffs, but in retrospect, I see that this was unrealistic. Some of that spending was on companies like Super Awesome and Bandcamp, which Epic bought in 21 and 22, respectively. Both companies were sold off shortly after Epic announced layoffs. Epic makes Fortnite, a multi-billion-dollar revenue generator. It licensed the Unreal Engine software that develops games like Final Fantasy VII Remake, Lives of P, and Jedi Survivor. It has its own unprofitable gaming storefront." I love that they put in brackets that it's unprofitable.
Yeah, it's got to twist the knife a little bit.
And Epic still spent so much of that money that in order to maintain a level of profitability acceptable to investors, it had to let 830 people go. Over the last 2 years, Embracer Group has made headlines for its numerous purchases of gaming studios, media companies, and the IP rights to The Lord of the Rings. This year, the company made an immediate about-face and began a massive restructuring program because of a $2 billion investment deal that fell through. Axios reported that deal was with Savvy Games Group, the gaming arm of the Saudi government's public investment fund, which fuck that, in all honesty. In the aftermath of this failed investment strategy, Embracer has shut down 3 studios, is looking to sell others, canceled numerous projects, and has laid off over 900 employees. These are just the biggest, most egregious examples. Hasbro laid off 1,000 employees, most of the team that worked on Baldur's Gate 3 with Larian Studios. EA laid off 6% of its workforce, or around 780 people. BioWare, Microsoft, Bungie, Naughty Dog, Ubisoft, Amazon, CD Projekt Red, Sega, Unity, and Activision Blizzard were all hit, just to name a few. And in the face of these devastating layoffs, the ramifications of which we have yet to see, one of the industry's biggest, most watched events failed to even acknowledge this reality. It doesn't have to be like it doesn't have to be like this. In 2013, Nintendo executives famously took pay cuts after the Wii U's poor sales to prevent laying off developers. If we reduce the number of employees for better short-term financial results, employee morale will decrease, said then President Satoru Iwata in an investor relations Q&A. I sincerely doubt employees who fear that they may be laid off will be able to develop software titles that can impress people around the world. This wasn't the only time either. 2 years prior in 2011, Iwata and Nintendo boards took pay cuts after sluggish sales of the 3DS prompted Nintendo to slash the handheld's price. Nintendo developer of some of the highest quality video games ever made, is saying here, in the long term, it is far more important to prioritize people over profit because those people will be better incentivized to make good games. As of September, Tears of the Kingdom has sold 19 million copies, more than half of what Breath of the Wild has done in 6 years since its launch. That success, the kind that had game developers, journalists, and players losing their minds over the game's bridge physics, is in part because the development teams between the two games remained largely the same. Retention is how institutional knowledge is preserved and passed down. It's the best way for developers to get promoted, making space for new people to enter the industry. This is it right here. Unionization can also protect developers in the event of layoffs. The effort to unionize studios continued in 2023, with some developers at Sega, CD Projekt Red, Avalanche Studios, and ZeniMax all voting to form this union. None of this is to say that layoffs should never happen, but the scale that we've seen in 2023 certainly shouldn't. We don't know what steps, if any, will the executives of these companies with millions of dollars in compensation packages took to avoid or lessen the need for layoffs. those kinds of mitigating actions like salary cuts and bonus cancellations should be prioritized before people are let go. The refrain of 2023 in games has been great year for games, terrible for game developers. I'd argue to just completely excise the first part of that statement. A year that is terrible for game developers cannot be great for games. This is a well done article. Bravo to Ash Parrish for this piece of literary.
I will say, Satoru Iwata was the GOAT, man. That
He
guy
was a fucking Chad.
That guy was like, you know what? Nintendo's struggling during the Wii U era. I don't want to lay off any of my employees or cut their paychecks. I'm just going to eat the L and just make less money.
He took accountability for a half-baked product, which is so rare now.
It's very rare. You never see people in high positions like that do that anymore. I feel
and that's the unfortunate part. Like, and this is we get into some muddy water here, but the way that our current system in this country is, profit over people is exactly the mindset that this system allows. It's exactly what it allows. It's still happening. Hell, on a somewhat separate side note, SAG had and the WGA had their strikes last year, which were very important, and now we're seeing SAG stabbed the voice actor community in the back by saying, yes, AI is now accepted to replace voice actors. And they lied and said all of their voice actors accepted this when none of them seem to have really done that.
Yeah, that's going to have to be a topic for maybe next stream, because that's a whole can of worms we got to get into, because that's going to have implications for gaming, because actually what they sign is going to directly correlate with gaming.
But that's the thing. None of the voice actors that are well known. Hell, Steve Bloom is the biggest one. He said, "I didn't sign shit. I didn't sign anything to approve this." So yeah, like it could be a topic for another day. But I'm just saying, like, the layoffs last year are still being felt this year. I think it is due to a bigger problem of the AAA games industry specifically crumbling. The House of Cards is finally caving in on itself because it's just too unsustainable. And again, this is going to be a good thing and a bad thing. I'm hoping that with this, we will see certain companies realize, oh shit, maybe we don't need these overblown budgets to make these big games. Like, we need to make a really good big game and then a really good medium-sized game in between the big games. Like, that's the thing that people forget, is that between... And people could say this game was AAA, but I consider it AA to an extent. But between Arkham City and Arkham Knight, we had Arkham Origins. That filled the void of Batman content, and it was a good Batman game in between a great trilogy. Like,
yeah, and I don't know why they keep acting like Arkham Origins is like the black sheep, and they never want to acknowledge it. But
they don't ever want to acknowledge greatness.
I know.
They also hated Jesus for speaking the truth.
Arkham Origins really needs a modern day port so badly.
But again, like, in between the God of Wars and the Jack and Daxters, you had Ape Escape, you had Gravity Rush, you had all these different games, Twisted Metal. You had these smaller franchises kind of taking the spotlight for a moment to give the big talent rest so they could work on their games without what's happening now, honestly, because all we really focus on is what big AAA story game is coming out next. We don't have a AA game I can't say the word. Cessacious. Is that it?
Facetious? I'm getting tongue-tied now. God damn it. Facetious.
No, not facetious. Like, it's supposed to fill our appetite until the next big game comes out.
Appease?
Appease? No.
It's a little too negative.
Anyway,
I don't know anymore.
Point is,
English is too hard.
In the grand scheme of things, again, PlayStation did this best. You would have big games come out, and in between those big games, smaller games would come out that were just as good. Sometimes even better, I would dare say, depending on what you call a AA and AAA game of that era. But, my point is, we don't have that now. A lot, like, I'm not gonna say the AA industry is dead. There's still a lot of good AA games coming out. It's just that the AAA games take priority because they make the most money, because they earn the big bucks. And I think that in the end, I wanna hope that it's for the better, that the AAA games industry goes through a restructuring. Having to start from ground zero can sometimes bring out a lot of creativity, and I'm hoping that that is what happens.
Yeah, I think things are gonna have to go through a restructure. Like the system as it is right now cannot things have to change. The system as it currently stands is not sustainable. It just isn't.
No, and that's why like you have companies like Ubisoft begging for someone to buy them because they dedicated themselves to live service. They're sinking so much. They've sunk so much money in the Skull and Bones, man. They really should just cancel that damn game.
I think that's why they can't cancel it, because they put too much money in it.
It's gotten like it's too big. It's too big to fail. When in reality, it's dead on arrival. So I don't know. Again, it is not just the games industry, but it most definitely like that's what we talk about here. So that's the part we're focusing on.
Well, it's not including the game industry. This was breaking news today as well. Discord announced apparently that they're going to be laying off 17% of their employees. 17%. That's a big chunk.
That is a big chunk. And I want to also point out that they did mention Sega unionized in that article. They did, and then Sega fired them.
Yeah. Discord's going through it. Sega's going through. I mean, even like I said, if Discord is laying off people, like what the hell's happening?
Like it's just
Discord.
The system itself. Well, the system itself has been designed again, profit over people. Thank you, Jack Welch, for implementing this mindset. Oh God, I hate Jack Welch with a passion. Anyway,
I thought you were gonna say Bobby Kotick.
No. Bobby Kotick is a person that took notes from Jack Welch. Jack Welch is the main person that implemented this mindset of capitalism. But that's again separate thing. But yeah, I want to see these companies pull it back a bit, make smaller games, and they can still make the AAA games. I'm not saying that. I just think that not every trend needs to be chased. Some other trends that come to mind that have been done through gaming. Growing up, it was mascot platformers. Everyone had to have a mascot platformer. That's why you have a bunch of like you had Gex, you had Blinks for Xbox. There's Spyro, Crash, Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper. Oh God, there was just so many. The list goes on and on. Mascot platformers were a trend, and then came another trend that I remember very well. I wasn't a fan of it, but I remember it very well. Was the toys to games trend, where you had to buy a bunch of little collectible toys and then put them on the platform, and they're in the game.
Yeah, but you know what though? Like some of them were good. Like Lego Dimensions, that game was fire.
It was dead on arrival though. It had great ambition, dead on arrival.
That game was so good though.
And Disney Infinity also had good ideas, dead on arrival.
And Disney Infinity was also good too. Like both of those games are actually really good.
Activision actually started that damn trend with Skylanders.
Yeah, with the Spyro as the main character.
They used Spyro's corpse to build that fucking empire. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
anyway,
my point is that trends come and go in the games industry. Although I think the live service trend is one of the deadlier trends that gaming has seen, because it's caused a lot of this inflation that we're seeing. It's because of the never-ending nature that live service games offer. With toys to games, you just had to keep buying the figures. With platformers, you just had to keep coming up with a new idea for a new character, which those can be taxing as well, because those both run on the concept of always having great ideas for characters. But this one is, we have to keep making not just new characters, but new maps, new skins, new guns or weapons or whatever, everything. And Fortnite is the one that started the battle royale genre. They're going to be the one that's always going to be on top. Whoever's first at the top of the hill usually doesn't get knocked off. Apex, though, I would say is the second best. Yeah. Even though I don't really play these games like that.
But that's the thing, though. Like, I'm thinking about the Prince of Persia game, and that's a game that is not AAA. They reduced costs. They kind of made it a very mid-budget AA game, and it's probably it's getting great reviews, and it'll probably do good. And it's going to probably turn a profit because they didn't spend $1 bazillion on it. It didn't need to be the most a simple Metroidvania type game can do well if you spend appropriately and you market it appropriately. Like, it doesn't need all the fancy graphics and all the fancy bells and whistles.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, Sega has Sega hasn't really, as far as I know, Sega hasn't been capturing the live service model, thankfully. They've been kind of doing their own thing themselves, but they have a new president. I said this on Twitter. This man is a well-respected man in the games industry. He was there for the launch of the Dreamcast and the PlayStation. He was a big deal. He's a big deal. I don't have his name off the top of my head, but I can look it up. But what I said is, I hope that with him being in charge of the new Sega, he's the new president of Sega of America and Sega of Europe. And I hope with him being the new president, that acknowledge the damn unions, treat these workers right, please, because what Sega did is just awful. Them firing, first off, they didn't want to acknowledge the union, but American laws said they had to, and so they begrudgingly did. And they said, okay, we have to acknowledge you. We're going to fire all of you instead.
Mm-hmm.
Suji, I'm going to get this right. Suji Utsumi is the new president and COO of Sega, as well as CEO of Sega of America. So he's in charge of Sega altogether. Well, he's the chief operations officer. He's not in charge of Sega itself, but Sega of America, and he is high up in Sega of Japan. I hope that we're able to have a bit of course correction. And again, the union is recognized, it is respected, and some of these people can get their job back because it's just ridiculous. There is a big workers' movement happening. I want to say around the world, but I at least know it's happening over here in the States. I'm all for it. It's bottom line is it's always wrong to put profit over people because gaming is an art form. Movies are an art form. These people are here to create things they're passionate about. And if other people share their sentiment and see their passion and love it, you will make a profit. There are numerous games that are like that we could name off the top of our head. Fuck, Metal Gear Solid is just the first series that comes to mind. Kojima was very passionate about that series, making it. And of course, there's many others, but the point is that start valuing people, start valuing these workers, because they're the ones that make the product that you make the money off of.
Yeah.
I could keep going, but yeah, that's the long and short of it.
No, you're fine. I was just like, just like this is something that this is an ongoing conversation that can just there's a lot of pieces to it,
And there are industry
this
vets.
This is something we could talk about for hours, honestly.
It is
such a long,
I just thought this to say, there are industry vets who hate that the industry's like this because to make it their livelihood, and they entered the games industry, and all of that love, all of that passion just gets sucked out like a vampire or a leech draining the life from its host. And then they leave and they're a husk. It's an awful system to and it's not just the games industry, again, it's entertainment itself. But yeah, I want to be a creative. I want to be a games writer. That's what I'm working right now in school to be. And the fact that I'm expecting to get the short end of a stick at some point, but the fact that I may get it as soon as I walk in the door is just upsetting to me. It really is. It's disappointing. Yeah. It's upsetting. I'm still going to get my degrees and stuff, but it's just very disappointing that the industry that I love potentially will not love me back. That's just very disheartening to me.
Yeah, no, we understand where you're coming from. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this topic. And is there anything else we need to say on it before we wrap things up for the show?
I mean, there's a lot of other talking points we could talk about, but yeah, we would be going in circles. I think
please, here's what I'll say to wrap this up. Please, game industry, please shape up. Please be better. in 2024. Please stop laying off your employees and treating them like dirt.
I agree with the sentiment, but I also see the reality that is not going to happen. At least here in America, especially, it's not going to happen. Again, profit over people. It'll always happen. And, but I do think that if they won't do it by will, like their own free will, the AAA games industry crashing and resetting, rebooting, whatever you want to call it, it basically having to start from scratch will force them to. It'll force them to, because then they won't get the giant piles of money. Then they won't get to live like Scrooge McDuck. They will have to prioritize people over profit. And I hope that when that happens, it may happen because that's how insanity works, but I don't want to end up in a vicious cycle of crash, rebuild, change, going back to how it was, crash, and so on. Like, I don't want that to be a cycle that we see. I want, again, game industry to be better, but the only way that happens is through a lot of people coming together and just saying, we're done with this. We're done with this treatment. It's time to quote the man himself, Owen Hart, enough is enough, and it's time for a change. I think that's
well said.
That's the best way to end
well
it.
Said. Yeah. Whew, what a show.
What a show indeed. I've been looking forward to this, and it did not disappoint. I mean, hell, we could do an episode on PlayStation itself.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of talk about PlayStation.
Jim Lyon crying Ryan fucked them over pretty good before leaving. But yeah, for right now, folks, that is going to wrap it up. We'll save that for another episode. I want to thank you all for joining us here. If you enjoy what you're listening to or saw, please leave a like, share, and of course subscribe. We are on the road to what did we start, Jay? 75 subscribers, I think, is the new goal.
Yeah.
On the road to 75 subscribers. So please do like, share, subscribe if you like what you saw here. And then of course you can also find us all on Twitter. I am again on Twitter right there at the bottom at the most meta, and you can find RJ with his Twitter right there at Resonant Justice. Again, I am sad that we missed Braille this time around, but you can find him at Blinded Braille. He will be with us. He should be with us with the Xbox live stream. Again, next week, the live stream goes live at 3. We're going to try to probably go live a bit before to do predictions. Again, follow us for updates on that. We're going to play it by ear. But yeah, I think that's everything. Do you have any final thoughts in general, RJ?
Well, just thank you for watching. Thank you for continuing to support the channel. We really appreciate it. And we'll be back next time talking about live reacting to the Xbox showcase. Hopefully Indiana Jones looks good. I really want that game to be good. I really do. I hope it looks good.
I do too, because the last Indiana Jones game was not good at all. It was terrible. On that note, again, thank you all for watching. We really do appreciate it, and we will see y'all next time. And until then, everyone have a good night, and we'll see y'all later. Bye, everyone.